In a modest neighborhood in Lagos, there lived a young woman named Chioma. Life had dealt her a tough hand 10 years ago, but she was nothing if not resilient. Fresh out of secondary school, Chioma discovered she was pregnant. Her parents, conservative and strict, flew into a rage at the news. They had dreams of her becoming a lawyer, a doctor, or anything but a teenage mother. "You've shamed this family," they shouted, their words like knife cutting through the air. In their fury, they threw her out of the house, leaving her alone and terrified. With nowhere to turn, it seemed Chioma's future had crumbled right before her eyes. But as fate would have it, an angel appeared. Her best friend, Amaka. Amaka was everything Chioma wasn't at that time. Confident, focused, and exceptionally talented. She had won a scholarship to an Ivy League university abroad and was well on her way to success. Despite her busy life, she was always there for Chioma. She took her in, supported her both emotionally and financially, and even helped take care of Chioma's son whenever she was back in Nigeria. Amaka had become Chioma's pillar, and for that, Chioma was eternally grateful to her. Years passed, and Chioma's life started to take a turn for the better. She met Chijioke, a charming man who accepted her past and her child. He seemed to be everything a woman could ever want: caring, hardworking, and supportive. The two of them fell in love deeply, and for a while, it seemed like the universe was finally smiling down on Chioma. But like every seemingly perfect story, there was an undercurrent of tension lurking beneath the surface. Chijioke had one issue that he could not seem to let go of: Amaka. From the moment he learned about Amaka's involvement in Chioma's life, he saw her as a threat. "That girl is too close to you," he would say, his voice laced with jealousy. "She makes you depend on her. You need to cut the umbilical cord, Chioma. You're not a baby." Chioma, patient and understanding, would always defend her best friend. "Amaka has been there for me when no one else was. She's practically family." But Chijioke wasn't convinced. He saw Amaka as an obstacle, someone who had so much influence over Chioma's decisions. To him, Amaka's presence was a constant reminder of his own inadequacies. A competitor he had to outdo for Chioma's heart. Weeks turned into months, and Chijioke's frustration grew. His behavior shifted from subtle digs at Amaka to outright hostility. "You choose her over me," he muttered one evening, his voice tinged with bitterness as he paced around their living room. "That's absurd, Chijioke." Chioma snapped back. "It's not about choosing. Why can't you just accept that she's part of my life? But Chijioke had already made up his mind. He wanted to be the center of Chioma's world. And in his view, Amaka was a threat to that. The final straw came one rainy night during a heated argument. "It's her or me," Chijioke declared, his eyes cold and unwavering. "I won't marry you unless you cut ties with Amaka." Chioma stared at him, shocked. It was as if the ground had shifted beneath her feet. How could he make such a demand? Amaka was more than just a friend. She was a lifeline. But now, Chijioke was asking her to sever that lifeline for the sake of their relationship. Days passed in a haze of confusion and heartache. Chioma was trapped between her love for Chijioke and her loyalty to Amaka. She couldn't imagine her life without any of them. She sought advice from friends and family, but opinions were divided. Some said she should choose her fiancé. After all, he was her future. Others warned her that a man who issued ultimatums was not a man who truly loved her. Then came the moment Chioma dreaded. She met with Amaka one Saturday afternoon on the veranda of Amaka's family home. The rain had just stopped, leaving the air crisp and cool. As they sipped their tea, Chioma mustered the courage to speak. "Amaka, I need to tell you something," she began, her voice barely above a whisper. "Chijioke has given me an ultimatum. He says he won't marry me unless I cut you off." Amaka's eyes widened in shock. For a moment, she said nothing, letting the words sink. Then she sighed and placed a comforting hand on Chioma's shoulder. "Chioma, if he really loves you, he wouldn't make you choose. Love isn't about ultimatums. It's about acceptance." Chioma felt a wave of relief mixed with sadness wash over her. Deep down, she knew Amaka was right. But acknowledging that meant facing the harsh reality of her relationship with Chijioke. As the evening darkened around them, Chioma made her decision. She couldn't cut Amaka out of her life, not for anyone. That night, when she returned home, Chijioke was waiting, sitting on the couch with a stern expression. "Well, have you made your decision?" he demanded. Chioma took a deep breath, her heart pounding. "Yes, I have. I love you, Chijioke, but I won't cut Amaka out of my life. She has been my rock, my family." Chijioke's face darkened with anger. "So, you're choosing her over me?" he shouted, jumping to his feet. "I knew it." "It's not about choosing," Chioma replied calmly, though her hands trembled. "It's about having the right to keep the people I care about close." "You're a fool," Chijioke spat, grabbing his cab keys. "Don't come crying to me when she leaves you high and dry." With that, he stormed out, slamming the door behind him. The next few days were agonizing. Chijioke avoided Chioma, staying out late and refusing to answer her calls. She felt as though she was living with a stranger. Then, one evening, he returned home with a suitcase in hand. "I'm leaving," he announced coldly. "I hope you're happy with your decision." Chioma stood in the doorway, tears brimming in her eyes. She wanted to beg him to stay, to try and work things out. But she held back. She had made her choice, and she had to stand by it. As she watched him drive away, a mix of sorrow and relief washed over her. Yes, she was heartbroken. But for the first time, she felt a sense of freedom. She had chosen herself and her values over a toxic demand. In the days that followed, Chioma slowly began to rebuild her life. Amaka was by her side, as always, helping her pick up the pieces. They laughed, cried, and healed together. And as the months passed, Chioma realized that true love wasn't about possessions or ultimatums. It was about support and acceptance. As for Chijioke, he left the city, and rumors surfaced that he was now living with a new girlfriend. Some said he tried to pull the same stunts with her. Others whispered that he had realized too late that he had lost a good woman. In the end, Chioma found peace in knowing that she stayed true to herself. She didn't let fear of being alone or manipulation dictate her choices. And as she watched her son play in the yard one sunny afternoon, she smiled. Life was far from perfect, but it was hers to live on her own terms.